Rob Baker. Let's jump in. Rob, let's grab you for a second. Yeah. Rob, move on here for a sec. Yep. Well done for that second place. It looked like it was quite an easy one once you got ahead. Once you got ahead of Mr. Valentine there.
There was first 5 laps. There was, I think I was 5th. Got past him after a few laps of trying, and then me and Jason had a battle for God knows how long, 4 or 5. And unfortunately, he got hit by a back marker down the bottom. Otherwise, I think that would have lasted till the end. But good to come back after 2 years. I haven't raced for 2 years in Civic Cup, so good to come back and end it with a podium.
It was very tight though between you, like you say, for a number of laps. Was it just a bit ding dong the whole way?
No, it was no contact really between us. There was a few rubs and stuff, which you'd expect, but like I say, back marker took him out down the bottom, and that ended that really. So.
Well done, nice second place there. And let's find hello, well done, well done. Right. So that was a hell of a fight, especially with Mark behind you.
Oh, well, as Rob said, I got taken out by a back marker, and then after that I was struggling massively with understeer, and I could see Mark in the mirror getting closer and closer, and just had to change from trying to catch Rob to trying to keep Mark behind us. So managed just.
It was a real battle, and as you said, the last few laps, Mark was really on your tail. 0.2 of a second as you crossed the line.
He was reeling us in. I could see him lap after lap, well, corner after corner. He was just getting closer and closer. I'm thinking, oh no, he's coming, and then, like you say, over the line, he was right in the back of us. So yeah, it was hard work.
Happy with your morning's work so far?
Yeah, definitely happy with that. Yeah, pleased. Yep.
Well done, well done. Well, there we have it. The top 3 for the first race of the day.
Well, there we go then. A fantastic start to the day and a fantastic start to the season for the Cox Motor Parts Civic Cup. What a race that was. That's woken everyone up this morning, I think, hasn't it, here at Silverstone? It's maybe chilly, but the sun is starting to break out, and we are looking forward to seeing what that championship has to offer over the rest of the season. 2 different winners in the first 2 races, and very, very exciting stuff indeed. So we are waiting for the drivers to make their way now up to the podium, and it's not a long walk for them up to the top of the stairs, and that is their moment to finally take it all in and relax, take a breather. No more racing for the Civic Cup this weekend, and so the chance now presents itself for them to just enjoy the moment here at Silverstone, the home of British motor racing. A great place to start any championship, and as you saw there, the first race of the day showing just what exciting racing this place can produce. So the drivers make their way up onto the podium, and our 3rd place finisher, a great drive it was for Jason Ballantyne. 2nd place then making his way up to, and there is our race winner. Daniel Hobson gets the winner's trophy and takes his step on the top of the podium. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Silverstone. Round number 2 of the BRSCC Mazda MX-5 Super Cup is about to get underway. The cars, as you can see, a huge grid, 35 cars lined up on the grid, are about to head on to their green flag lap, and this is the order in which they will start this, their 2nd race of the weekend. Luke Herbert, the reigning champion, is on pole position. Alongside him, though, a much improved Jonathan Greensmith on the front row. Jack Harding and Aidan Hills, 2 up-and-coming youngsters on row 2, and a real up-and-coming youngster, former Lotus racer Will Stacey on row 3, alongside Gary Townsend, the first of the Masters contenders. Richard Wicklin and James Harris are on row 4, Nick Dunn and Colin Bysouth rounding out the top 10. And then it's Steve Roberts, former BMW champion and former Mazda champion, James Blake Baldwin, way down on the 6th row, but made good progress yesterday. Carl Garnett and Simon Baldwin are next, ahead of Christian White, former Toyota MR2 racer, and Sam Tatler on the 8th row. Will Stevenson and Alec Livesley are next up. Jack Sycamore and Alex King round out the top 20, but there are plenty more to go. Darren Stapleton and Nick Rutter are next, ahead of George Grant and John Stack. Will Sharp and James Kell next in line, ahead of Alex Miller and Tom Parker, with Jeremy Crook down on towards the tail end of the field. But there are a further 7 or 8 drivers behind. Jeff Gurrier, row 15 alongside him, then Nick Boone and Xavier Brooks, Stephen Boyles, Mark Swarbrick and Ian McDonald rounding out the 35-car field, and it appears they're all there. Now, I mentioned they had a race yesterday, and as the green flag light gets underway, I'll tell you what happened. It was a bit of a surprising result, it must be said. The reigning champion Luke Herbert, the blue car there with number 1 on his windscreen, was due to line up on pole position yesterday, only for his car to mysteriously cut out as he made his way from the assembly area to the grid. Now, he got it fixed by, as far as I could work out, jiggling a few wires and hoping for the best, but he did get the car fixed, he got it running, but not in time to retake his pole position, so he had to start from the back of the grid, and he raced his way all the way back up into the top 10, finishing 8th position. So Luke Herbert finishing 8th in race 1. Things could have gone much worse though. The race victory was taken by rookie Will Stacey, his first ever MX5 Super Cup race, and he went onto the top step of the podium. One of the youngest drivers in the series as well is Will, but he does have racing experience and race winning experience in Lotus racing for the last few years, so in a way, we shouldn't be too surprised that he was up there at the sharp end. Steve Roberts, likewise, a former BMW champion, seems to have found some pace, but more importantly, some good fortune at the start of this season. And Jonathan Greensmith, who described last season as one of his worst seasons in motorsport. He knew he had the potential, but just nothing would go right for him. Well, he did a complete refurb on the car over the winter, and he was very, very happy with his 3rd place finish yesterday. Other ones to watch out for in this one, James Blake Baldwin, I mentioned, a former champion, but he starts down in 12th place. The grid for this second race, incidentally, is not based upon the result from yesterday's race. It's based on the 2nd fastest qualifying times from the qualifying session yesterday morning, hence the reason that Luke Herbert gets a second crack at starting on the pole position, which it looks as though he will be able to do. Yes, Luke Herbert, blue car, his car appears to be working fine. He will line up on pole position with Jonathan Greensmith, the white car with the blue stripes on the inside of him. On the front row, Jack Harding, now in his 4th season of MX5 Super Cup racing, multiple race winner, but had a few issues early on last season which prevented him from challenging for the title. And then we have the blue car with the orange flashes of Aidan Hills, new colour scheme for Aidan for this year, but he really came on strong towards the back end of 2017. So this is a 20-minute race, the middle race of the weekend, because the MX5 Super Cup have 3 races. And the good news is, race 3 later on this afternoon is a reversed grid race, which never fails to provide entertainment. The capacity grid is almost all in position as they line up underneath the starting gantry in, for the first time this weekend, the sunshine. We haven't seen that orange thing in the sky very much this weekend, and when we have, it's been quickly replaced by grey clouds and wet weather. But fingers crossed, this is the weather that we expect to see stick around for the bulk of the day. Back row of the grid is in position, I believe. Ian McDonald lining up 35th on the grid will round out the runners, but at the front of the field, Luke Herbert and Jonathan Greensmith are about to do battle for victory in round number 2 of the BRSCC Mazda MX5 Super Cup. We watch for the red lights which go on. They go out now, and we are away. Great start from Luke Herbert from pole position. He should retain the lead down in towards Copse Corner. Everyone is cleanly ahead, but yes, Herbert leads. 2nd place for Greensmith, and Aidan Hills is through into 3rd position as they turn into the 1st corner. But it is a textbook start from the reigning champion, and this time he's got clear air ahead of him, no one to overtake. However, Mazda MX-5 racing is renowned for its slipstreaming action, and already we can see that Greensmith and Aidan Hills are closing in. Greensmith almost gets into the back of the leader and then does get a bit of contact from Aidan Hills behind him. Oh, and there's contact and a spinner back in the pack. That's the number 16 car that's gone around and miraculously is avoided by everyone. That's Simon Baldwin. That's James Blake Baldwin's stepbrother, and he is very lucky to get away without more serious damage there. Leaders down towards Brooklyn's defensive line taken by Luke Herbert. Greensmith looks to the outside, and up the inside comes Jack Harding, 3 abreast for second place. Harding on the inside, Aidan Hills on the outside, and Greensmith pinned in the middle, and somehow it's Johnny that comes out with second place. Harding third, and Aidan Hills has to settle for fourth. But that was fantastic racing, but it's just allowed Luke Herbert to maybe pull a car length or so's advantage. Back through Woodcote we go. One of the key things with MX5 racing is to try and break the toe. Once you can pull maybe a 1 second gap over the cars behind you, then they can't get your slipstream, and it's very difficult for them to catch you again. And this is something that Luke Herbert is a real master of, getting out in front, getting his head down and putting in essentially a series of qualifying laps to try and build the gap over the rest of the field. Johnny Greensmith, though, is starting to inch back towards his rear bumper, so I don't think Herbert's going to have it that easily in this race. On the brakes into Beckett's, wide line in, tight line out, trying to carry the momentum down the back straight. Here's some of the dicing going on behind. That's the number 17 car of Nick Dunn we saw running a bit wide there, the Clapham North liveried machine, and that lost him a few positions. One of some of the drivers we were watching for further back, well, James Blake Baldwin got his way from 12th to 9th on the first lap, so keep an eye on the other blue car with the orange stripes. Is up the inside again for second place, looks Jack Harding. That late lunge, but you always run the risk of the driver in front not seeing you there and turning in, and I think Jack decided that at this early stage discretion was the better part of valour, and he just backed out of the manoeuvre before any paint was traded. Behind these, by the way, the grey car is Richard Wicklin in 5th position. Will Stacey, our race 1 winner, is 6th. Now, Will started this race in 5th, so he sort of held position more or less, and James Blake Baldwin there, the blue and orange car, just about tagged onto the tail end of the lead pack. So what have we got? Essentially 8 cars battling for the top 8 positions, nose to tail. Replay of the start here, you can see that everyone did get away cleanly. Bit of a slow start for one car further back, but they, I think, managed to get it all recovered. And Luke Herbert it was who led into the first turn. But by the time they arrived back down at the end of the Wellington straight, there's the contact with Simon Baldwin. Hard to see who that was that collected him in the pack, but very easy to do that. So back down towards Brooklyn as we go, and Jack Harding, we're back with live pictures now. Jack Harding this time has made it stick. He's got up the inside of Johnny Greensmith and takes second position. So Jack Harding, after 3 laps of trying that move, he finally gets it right and takes over the second position. But look at the time they've lost to Luke Herbert. Can they close him back down? In theory, what these drivers should now be doing is working together, not trying to overtake each other, and try to close back in on the lead, but trying to get those sort of strategies communicated between each other in a race situation is not all that easy. Johnny Greensmith, though, is a very experienced racer. He won championships in Mazda MX-5 racing before switching over to Porsche racing, where he became a double champion, before making the switch back to Mazda MX-5s a couple of years ago. And you can see he is not even attempting to overtake Jack Harding, simply sitting in the wheel tracks, working together, working that slipstream to try to lap quicker than the race leader. Herbert had nearly a 1 second advantage at the start of the lap. I would say to the eye, it is coming down ever so slightly. Richard Wicklin there in 5th, and James Blake Baldwin is now 6th, so the last time I checked in on him he was 9th, he's now 6th. That's the blue car with the orange stripes, number 4, really making good progress. There he is, in behind Richard Wicklin, behind him is Harris, and there Will Stacey losing position, which is something we haven't seen much of this weekend, and that's Carl Garner, the white and orange car. He's not quite made the move stick yet though, and Will fights back up the inside into Luffield. This is over 8th position, so Stacey had 8th, Garnett wanted it, and Will Stacey, look at that, you could not get any closer without trading paint, but it looks as though Will Stacey is going to have to play second fiddle here. Carl Garnett had the momentum around the outside line and takes over 8th position as they cross the start-finish line. Back down in towards Copse Corner, lap number 5 begins. Still 15 minutes left of this though, which is the good news, and we don't anticipate the racing getting any less frenetic than this from now until the checkered flag. Back with the second place battle now in towards Beckett's. Harding has that second place, but they are not catching the leader. The gap went out by another 10th or so last time around. Luke Herbert set a personal best lap. The man I think to watch here is James Blake Baldwin. He's caught this lead group now, and he is looking to try and make a move on the 5th place man, Richard Wicklin. So keep an eye on the silver car, Richard Wicklin, the blue and orange car of James Blake Baldwin, and James is going for it up the inside line. Nicely done if this works. He's late enough on the brakes. He gets to the apex first, and the former champion is up into the top 5. Now, what further progress progress can he make? Aidan Hills is his next target there in the light blue and orange car. But James Blake Baldwin is on a charge. Remember, he started 12th, but he didn't start particularly strongly in yesterday's race either, and managed to work his way through into 5th position by the end. So he's proven already that he is a real master of overtaking here at Silverstone. Oh, for second place, Johnny Greensmith and Jack Harding are dicing, and that opens the door for Aidan Hills around the outside. So all of that working together didn't last very long, did it? They're now deciding to fight over second, and that's going to give Luke Herbert an even bigger advantage at the front of the field. But clearly Johnny Greensmith feels that if he was at the front of this group, maybe they'd all be able to go a bit quicker. He's about to lose a place though, because Aidan Hills gets up the inside. What a cheeky move that was, but it was executed perfectly. Aidan Hills moves through into 3rd place, and that now loses Greensmith momentum and brings James Blake Baldwin alongside him. Baldwin will be on the outside line down towards Brooklands though, so this is far from a done deal just yet. Wheel to wheel into the braking zone, Greensmith on the inside, Blake Baldwin on the outside, and if he'd have risked going around the outside there, he would quite possibly have lost a couple of positions. So he decided, I'm going to sit back in line and wait for a better opportunity to maybe get up the inside of Greensmith, which could be here. He's nudging, he's tapping Morse code onto the rear bumper of the number 2 machine, but still can't quite prise the door open, can he? Greensmith hangs on then to the position. They flash across the start-finish line, but I'm interested to see what the lead will be for Luke Herbert. Well, actually, they only lost a 10th of a second to him with all of that battling, so 1.5 seconds is the distance between Herbert and Harding. And then the next 4 or 5 cars covered by less than a second. Out of Copse Corner, Blake Baldwin looking to the inside of Greensmith. Couldn't draw alongside on the run towards Beckett's. What about under braking, though? No, Greensmith defends the inside, just snatches a break. That was just the unweighted rear left wheel, because of course into Beckett's there you're actually braking and turning left through maggots as well, and so it's quite easy to lock the brakes and drift a bit wide. Greensmith made the apex though and hangs on to that 4th position for the time being. So Harding into 2nd, Aidan Hills is there in 3rd, and they're all jockeying for position, and Hills is up the inside and going for 2nd place. This is brave for Harding. He's going to try and hang around the outside, but Hills, I think, has the position. Does he? We'll wait and see. Yes, Aidan Hills gets it. So Aidan Hills into 2nd position, Harding down to 3rd, but Blake Baldwin has finally found a way past Johnny Greensmith. So Greensmith, whose race started off very positively in 2nd position, has now started to just slip further down the order. He should be able to hang on to the back of Blake Baldwin though, and maybe try to follow him past Jack Harding, which is a move that I feel is imminent, because Harding actually gets up the inside of Aidan Hills. How on earth did he do that? I don't think he meant to be honest. I think he was defending so hard for his 3rd place that he braked later than Aidan Hills in front of him and went up the inside. He then runs too wide on the exit though, so Hills gets back ahead of him, and Blake Baldwin will follow, possibly into Beckett's. Harding is late on the brakes though. Can he find a gap in line? Blake Baldwin could make 2 places in 1 if he plays his cards right here. Aidan Hills doesn't know which way to go to try to defend his newly acquired 2nd position. So it's a long train of cars on the inside, and the man being left out of all of the fun here is James Blake Baldwin. He's on the outside, and he could lose a couple of spots here. Hills holds on to 2nd, Harding goes 3rd, and yeah, Greensmith goes 4th. So all of that hard work to find a way past Jonathan Greensmith is now undone for James Blake Baldwin as he drops back behind the number 2 machine. Richard Wicklin is in behind, and then James Harris and Carl Garnett. Will Stacey, though, you see the blue car in the background, our race 1 winner, has just slipped out of the picture ever so slightly. He would very much like to see the cars in front continue to trip over each other and hold themselves up to possibly allow him to join back into the fight for possibly a top 5 position. So, approaching half race distance, 10.5 minutes still remaining. Luke Herbert has a 2.1 second lead over this pack of cars, still jostling over 2nd place. It is Aidan Hills that has it. Jack Harding wants it. Johnny Greensmith had it before and wants it back. And James Blake Baldwin, oh, Aidan Hills sideways in 2nd place. Can he hold on to it? Oh, what a save. Fantastic car control from Aidan Hills, but it will cost him several positions. Harding goes 2nd, Greensmith 3rd, Blake Baldwin 4th, and Richard Wicklin now gets himself alongside Aidan Hills as well. That was just a little too late on the brakes into Beckett's there for Aidan Hills, and unfortunately it's cost him dear. So Jack Harding is now disputing 2nd place with Jonathan Greensmith and James Blake Baldwin again, 3 of the regular front runners in the championship, these 3. And James Blake Baldwin and Johnny Greensmith really both felt they had a bit of a disappointing year last year. This is a replay of what happened to Hills, and I just think he carried a mile an hour or two too much speed into Beckett's there, lost the rear, but that was the longest slide I've ever seen through that corner. He ran off track, but crucially the car did not swap ends. Second place battle descending on Copse corner, and somehow they're all still in the same position. Contact between Blake Baldwin and Greensmith there. Oh, off wide goes, well, several cars actually. Will Stacey, and there's one car in the gravel in the background at Copse corner. That was possibly Steve Roberts, I think, in the number 56 machine, who had just been about to close back in on this group. Aidan Hills, not deterred by his moment down here at Beckett's a lap ago, is now throwing it up the inside of James Blake Baldwin. Oh, and interesting hand gestures from James Blake Baldwin there as they exited the corner. I don't think he's best pleased with that move that Aidan Hills just tried to pull off. They're still side by side though as they head now down towards Brooklands corner. Blake Baldwin on the inside, outside for Aidan Hills. Richard Wickland might be able to pick up a couple of positions as well. Yes, he does. So Aidan Hills, having thought he was about to gain a position, actually loses one now to the grey car of Richard Wickland. Black and green car is James Harris, who has done many years of racing in Mark I Mazdas and lately made the step up into the Super Cup. He's trying to get up the inside of the number 8 car of Aidan Hills as they make their way through Woodcote, but that doesn't quite pay off. Replay here of, well, I mean, there was a gap up the inside for Aidan, wasn't there? And there was no contact. I think it's maybe that on the exit that James didn't like, where Aidan tried to show him the edge of the track. And one feels there may be a discussion about that after the race. There might be discussions about this after the race as well, because they're 3 abreast for second place. Down towards Beckett's, and James Blake Baldwin passes the pair of them. Fantastic driving from James Blake Baldwin. You can tell he's a former champion, and he goes from 4th to 2nd in one fell swoop. Greensmith is just about 3rd, but Jack Harding is fighting back. Harding was 2nd a couple of corners ago. Now he's down to 4th as we have a yellow flag down at Brooklands. Now come on, boys, there's no overtaking under yellow flag conditions. Try telling them that, because they're 4 abreast now into the braking zone. How on earth are they going to settle this out? Blake Baldwin holds on to 2nd, Greensmith 3rd, Harding 4th, Wickland is now 5th ahead of Aidan Hills in 6th, James Harris 7th, and Will Stacey, this is exactly what he wanted, isn't it? Because he's been able to take advantage of their battling to close in as well. So it's a 2, 4, 6, 7 car battle list for second place. It is for second place, though not for the race lead, because Luke Herbert has checked out. You can see him in the distance, gesturing to his pit crew, I guess, on the pit wall there. But he is 3.4 seconds clear of the rest of the field. You'd think that would make for a dull and uneventful race, but when the racing for second is this exciting, that is not the case. All right, car in the gravel, that's James Kell, who's gone off down at Brooklands. That was the reason for the yellow flag, we presume, a lap ago, but the live snatch vehicle is there to pick him up and get the car out of the way. Oh, big contact, Richard Wickland and Will Stacey that was. Will Stacey came from absolutely nowhere and took out Richard Wickland. That was a big shunt, but Richard Wickland is getting out of the car. Will Stacey exited stage right. He's halfway down the hanger straight by this point, I'd imagine. What on earth happened there? Well, there's the good news. They're both getting out of the cars, but that was Will Stacey, yesterday's race winner, and the youngster, well, something went catastrophically wrong then down into Beckett's corner, and he's somehow come into contact significantly with Richard Wickland. Here's a replay. Will Stacey arrives out of nowhere. That must have been something went wrong with the car there for that to happen. That car had not slowed down one bit. So Wickland and Stacey out, but thankfully they both appear to be shaken but not too stirred. They're both getting out of their cars, but there will be a hefty repair job to be done before race 3 to get those two back out. Of course, if they do get back out, they'll be starting at the back of the grid as well. The race is flying by. We've got less than 6 minutes to go, and we are getting hands out of the cockpit there for James Blake Baldwin. That's warning, I presume, the cars behind about the yellow flag that will, of course, be out at Beckett's whilst the marshals deal with the incident down there. The ever-efficient Great British Marshals on the scene instantly to make sure the drivers are okay. So we've got yellow flags at Brooklands, we've got yellow flags up at Beckett's as well, so half the circuit is now a no overtaking zone. Not that that really bothers this guy, because Luke Herbert hasn't had anyone to overtake all race, and this was all too often the story of last season as well, because Luke, as I mentioned at the start of the race, really is very good at qualifying, so he tends to qualify on the front row, and then he can get the start and build the gap. And we've seen that once he built that sort of 1 second margin over the rest of the field, they all started falling over each other trying to catch him, and Luke has just been able to sail off into the distance. So 13 laps completed, just under 5 minutes remain in the race. Herbert leads by 3.1 seconds over, well, it was James Blake Baldwin, but it's now Jack Harding, because Jack Harding has got up the inside of Copse Corner. He runs a bit wide though, they're both a bit slow out of the turn, and Johnny Greensmith thinks, I'll have a bit of this, and goes to the outside. Now, can he do what James Blake Baldwin did a lap or so ago? No, he can't, because the yellow flags are out, and so he has to slot in between them. But third place now for Johnny Greensmith, down to fourth for James Blake Baldwin. I don't think we've had a lap go by where there hasn't been a change for position in a podium place. This has been fantastic racing. It's a shame we lost Will Stacey out of the battle, of Richard Wickland as well, but the rest of them have really provided entertainment. Down towards Brooklands, where the green flags, I believe, are now flying again, so they can overtake into this corner once more. Not that they were able to find a way past Jack Harding on this occasion. There's Herbert, then we wait. There is Harding, Greensmith, Blake Baldwin, Aidan Hills, and James Harris still in the mix as well. He's just been sort of solidly hanging on to the tail end of this group and picking up places where he can, and it's brought him into 6th place now. Nick Dunn, by the way, is 7th. Colin Bysouth is 8th. Darren Stapleton is 9th, and Steve Roberts, despite that gravelly moment a few laps ago, is down in 10th. Luke Herbert continuing there to gesture towards his pit crew. The last 3 laps he's come across the line, he's had his hand out of the car, waving furiously at someone on the pit wall. Was that contact there between Harding and Greensmith possibly at Copse Corner? Greensmith almost on the grass, and now they're back into the yellow flag zone, so in theory no overtaking, but I'm not entirely sure what order they were in when they arrived at the scene of the yellow flag, to be honest. May well be that those yellow flags stay out for the duration of the race now with only 3 minutes to go, but it saves throwing the safety car and spoiling what has been a fantastic race. All race long, really, between this lot. Look at them fan out down the Wellington straight. Aidan Hills in the blue car going to the inside. To the outside is James Blake Baldwin. In the middle is Johnny Greensmith, and he's the big loser in that. He loses 2 positions. Aidan Hills might gain 2 positions. Yes, he does. Aidan Hills goes from 5th to 3rd in 1 corner. That was a beautiful execution of a slingshot pass down the Wellington straight. He used that double slipstream to pull alongside, got to the inside line, and was late enough on the brakes to make it stick. And now James Harris is up the inside of Johnny Greensmith. James Harris with 2 wheels on the grass. Oh, that was very close. I think they avoided contact though. Back down towards Copse Corner they go. Back marker Ian McDonald there getting out of the way of the race leader, but this is the battle to watch, and now Blake Baldwin comes back at Aidan Hills. Up the inside, he's a bit sideways, he runs Aidan Hills out over the exit curve. He wasn't too happy when Aidan did that to him earlier on, was he? So but there's an apology there, I think, possibly from Blake Baldwin on the exit of Copse Corner. But these two do have history from this race. Through Beckett's they go. Meanwhile, check in with some of the battles further back through Luffield. They are some of the tail enders. The leaders are unlikely to catch them though, with only 2 minutes remaining in the race. Luke Herbert in blissful isolation here. The bonnet just flapping loose slightly, but I don't think that's going to cause him too much of an issue. There should be 2 more laps to go after this one. So 2 more laps for Luke Herbert. There is Jack Harding 2nd, James Blake Baldwin 3rd, Aidan Hills 4th, 5th is Jonathan Greensmith, 6th place for James Harris, and then a huge 7-second gap back to Colin Bysouth, Nick Dunn, Darren Stapleton and Steve Roberts, who are fighting over the lower top 10 positions. So back through Woodcote we go. Here are the battles further back. So this is, well, there's Alec Livesley, the number 5 car. He's 14th. So these are the battles just outside the top 10. So number 62 there, that is a new driver to the championship, William Stevenson. He's running in 12th place. Then Sam Tatler 13th, Alec Livesley 14th. This is another battle, well outside the top 20 even, but again, another championship where there are battles throughout the field, and you can see why Mazda MX-5 racing has become one of the most popular forms of club-level motor racing in the UK, whether it be the Super Cup, this championship for the Mark III cars, or the original Mazda MX-5 championship for the Mark I machines. Both championships get fully subscribed grids and great racing throughout. Race leader then, Luke Herbert, makes his way up in towards Luffield Corner. 1 more lap to go for the reigning champion. Are they in the same order behind him as the last time we left them? I think they are, actually. So Jack Harding is still 2nd, with Blake Baldwin there in 3rd place. But what a frenetic race it's been. James Harris is determined to get into the top 5, isn't he? He's in 6th position at the moment. If he can find a way past Jonathan Greensmith, he will get himself, I believe, his first ever top 5 finish. Yes, because he was 7th yesterday, and that was his best ever result in the championship. Out through Copse Corner, all bit of Morse code again. Oh, James Blake Baldwin completely sideways. He ran into the back of Jack Harding through Copse Corner. That lost him momentum, and Jonathan Greensmith arrived like a bullet behind him and just gently tagged the back of his car. There's a bit more paint trading between the two of them, but that's allowed Aidan Hills in the blue and orange car to go right round the outside of Jonathan Greensmith. He's got into 4th. Can he make the podium? 2 more corners to go, but this is one of the best overtaking opportunities on the track, and they've all got to sort this out in the space of the next 20 seconds or so. Luke Herbert's going to win, but who will be second and third? Harding has it at the moment. Blake Baldwin is third. Aidan Hills in 4th. No change of position through Brooklands. What about Nuffield? This is really the last chance to try and make anything stick. I don't think they're going to do it. So Jack Harding, I think, will hold on to second place, but there is no disputing the race winner. Race 1 didn't go his way, but victory in round number 2 goes to Luke Herbert, the reigning champion, takes the checkered flag. Second place, I think, is going to be Jack Harding by 0.2 of a second. James Blake Baldwin third, Aidan Hills 4th. James Harris did get past Jonathan Greensmith on the last lap, so he gets his first ever top 5 in the Mazda MX-5 Super Cup, with Jonathan Greensmith 6th, Colin Bysouth 7th. These are the battles further back. This is number 93, which is John Stack, and up the inside of him went number 91, which was Jack Sycamore, and that's well, these are outside of the top 20, but you can see they don't seem to care, do they? They're disputing these positions as if it's the last lap and you're fighting for a race victory. Novice crosses on the back of a few cars back here as well. Drivers maybe making their debut in motorsport, and this is what I call being thrown in at the deep end. Fantastic racing right to the line. Number 23 car, that was of Mark Swarbrick in a battle with the number 99 car of Nick Rutter, right down to the checkered flag. Luke Herbert it is, though, who takes a fairly comfortable victory in Mazda MX-5 terms. 4.5 seconds near enough, he was clear of the rest of the field. Jack Harding, a well-deserved second place, and James Blake Baldwin, remember, started 12th. Yesterday he started 12th and managed to finish up in 5th place. Today he goes from 12th to 3rd. Fantastic stuff from the former champion. Confirmation of your result then, 18 laps completed for the race winner Luke Herbert. Jack Harding was 2nd, James Blake Baldwin 3rd, Aidan Hills was 4th, then James Harris 5th. Johnny Greensmith will be a bit disappointed with 6th, I think, with Nick Dunn 7th, Colin Bysouth 8th. Steve Roberts got ahead of Darren Stapleton late on there, which I didn't spot, so he finishes 9th, 10th for Stapleton. Carl Garnett 11th, then Will Stevenson, Simon Baldwin. Good job from Simon Baldwin. Remember, he got spun on the opening lap and fought his way back into 13th place. Alec Livesley 14th, Sam Tatler 15th, then former MR2 champion Christian White is 16th, Alex King 17th, Jeremy Crook 18th, Gary Townsend 19th, and the top 20 rounded out by Alex Miller. Well, deep breath, everybody, because that was a fantastic race. So we can now, I believe, head down and have a chat with our top 3 finishers.
Thank you very much there, Andy. Well, I'm here with the race winner. That seems to be a walk in the park, was it?
It's never a walk in the park. It's the hardest thing to do is lead a race. But I got a mega start, and so as soon as they started battling, I was quite comfortable. Set some quick times, got a warning for track limits, and then I thought, I've got enough gap now, just avoid the curbs, avoid going off the track. But that's the hardest, that's the worst thing for a driver, is to see a track limits warning, because then you're driving the car under its limit. And I've done it many times before and gone off the track, so yeah, I'm pleased to win,
It's always nice to go pole to flag, isn't it? Doesn't happen very often.
No, I mean, last year I don't think it ever happened, without some sort of battle. But yeah, like I say, I just got the lucky break, and because just watching those guys battling it behind. But I think if I hadn't got away, then I may not be here. I may be 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. Who knows?
It looked pretty easy. Well done.
Yeah,
well done. Race winner there. Let's go to our second place. Let's grab him in. We can grab you over here, my friend. We'll grab James in a second, actually. But Jack, that seems to be quite a changeable race there for you.
Yeah. Problem is with this track, obviously, there's so much slipstream. You can be in the lead and people are going to catch you up if they've got a decent toe. So, yeah, I knew it was just going to be backwards and forwards. And then when I got into second place and realised I wasn't going to catch Luke, it was just a case of trying to defend. But it's so difficult to defend as well. But, yeah, we were down on power yesterday by 15 horsepower, so we had to change engine overnight. So big thanks to the boys at AK Automotive for changing engine.
Which is always difficult going into a race not quite knowing what the engine's going to do.
Yeah, exactly. I think there was a couple of little problems with it, but nothing hopefully we can't fix for race 3. But, yeah, yeah, massive thanks to AK and ITG and Yacht Trade Windows.
Well, just before we move over to James, you were being pushed the whole time by him, weren't you there? James in third place. It looked like he was going to take you a couple of times into the first turn.
Yeah, exactly. It's the only way you can defend into that turn is just like slow it right down on the apex, otherwise they're just going to get a run when you're coming out. So yeah, it was. I was going a bit steady, but it was the best thing to do at the time. So.
Well, they got you second place, well done. And let's head this way, let's get James here. James, we're right in the puddle, my friend, but well done. That was a real fight, 12th there to a third place. You must be happy with that one.
Yeah, no, that's a great result, but that was mental. That was really, really mental. Great fun. The guys are all such good drivers, but I got into second and I missed a gear, and then Jack took me back and he defended it really well all the way around. So fair play to him, but so close yet so far.
Well, you also had Aiden and you had John there too. I mean, real fight. You got to the first, fifth, quite early on, and then it was a case of really trying to get the elbows out, trying to push your way through.
Yeah, I mean, you get such a good draft around this circuit that whoever's in front is just at a disadvantage, and they've, it's like buzzing of bees all around you. But no, I mean, it's a good race, a good result, considering how bad we did in qualifying. So it's entirely down to me. So yeah, car's really, really going well. Blink Motorsport have done an amazing job on the car, as always. So I have to really, really thank them for their time and effort they've put into it. Car's going well.
And you are going all right?
I hope so. Yeah, I'm tired now. Is it beer o'clock yet?
Not quite yet. You've got one more to go. There we go. Third place. Off to the podium you go. So there you go. Top three there from the race. What a race that was. Time for the podium. But right now, back to Andy.
Thanks very much, Bryn. Highlights of that first race of the day, second race of the weekend for the MX5 Super Cup, and what a race we were treated to. Drama at the start for Simon Baldwin when he got tagged into a spin. It was a great recovery drive for him though. Whilst at the front, Luke Herbert escaped from a frenetic battle behind. Richard Wicklund and Will Stacey came together dramatically up at Beckett's corner, but that left a five-way fight for second, whilst Luke Herbert escaped to take a very comfortable first victory of the season. Well, that has been a fantastic start to our day here. The MX5 Super Cup always provide drama, and remember, their race later on today will be a reversed grid race, a partially reversed grid race. We'll give you further details on that when we get to the race later on. So the drivers make their way onto the podium. James Blake Baldwin, our third place finisher, gets the handshake, the winner's cap and the third place cap and trophy. And then we await Jack Harding. There he is, second step of the podium for him, but he is a multiple former race winner. He'll be on that top step at some point this year, I'm sure. But our race victor for the second round of the championship is Luke Herbert. Luke Herbert, the reigning champion, had to wait until round 2 of the championship to take that number 1 car back to the number 1 step of the podium, but he has now been able to do it. So Luke Herbert it is who takes our first win of the day for the MX5 Super Cup, and a great performance it was from the reigning champion as well.
Well, there we go. 2 races from the start, and what races they were. We've got more action starting again at around 11 o'clock. Make sure you join us then. For now, that's it for us here at Silverstone. Hello and welcome to the BRSCC event coverage here live from Silverstone. We've got coverage of the Avon Tyres National Formula Ford Championship, a championship that always provides a very strong array of single-seat racing drivers. Drivers like Joey Foster, the Formula Ford Festival winner, and the 2016 champion Niall Murray making his return. For more build-up of Race 2, here's our commentator Andy McEwen.
Thanks very much, Bryn. Yes, Formula Ford 1600 racing has a rich heritage here at Silverstone, particularly on the national circuit. Of course, the end of season Walter Hayes Trophy spectacle that takes place annually here at Silverstone is a real mecca for Formula Ford racers and fans of the Formula as well. This is one of the most popular single-seater categories in the world. And what makes it popular is the fact that because the cars have no wings, no aerodynamic aids whatsoever, the racing is ultra close. And on a nice, wide, high-speed circuit like the Silverstone National Circuit is, the racing is extra entertaining. We've got a packed grid. 31 cars are about to head out for what will be the second round of the National Formula Ford 1600 Championship. They will have 2 races today, one now and one later on this afternoon, and they start this one in the order in which they finished yesterday's race, which was won by this man, Joey Foster, Formula Ford 1600 legend. He first started racing Formula Ford some 17 years ago when he was the Winter Series champion. He's won the Walter Hayes Trophy here at Silverstone 3 times as well, but he hasn't won it since 2005. He certainly hasn't lost that edge around Silverstone though. He knows how to get around this place. He's also a 2-time Formula Ford Festival champion back at Brands Hatch, including last year, so he's the reigning Festival champion. Got experience racing in ELMS, Formula 3, he's won a race in British GT4 as well. So Joey Foster, a very accomplished racing driver. Alongside him on that front row will be our second place finisher from yesterday, Michael Moyers, who is the reigning Walter Hayes Trophy champion. So we've got some Walter Hayes Trophy, some Silverstone heavy hitters up there at the front of the grid together on row 1. Niall Murray, who lines up third on the grid, also a Walter Hayes champion in 2016, so it's no coincidence that drivers who have won the Walter Hayes Trophy here at Silverstone have found their way to the front of the grid. Here is the grid, and this is also the result for yesterday's race for reference as well. So Joey Foster and Michael Moyers, as I mentioned, on row 1. Niall Murray and Josh Fisher make up row 2. Jamie Thorburn and Luke Cooper on row 3. Then Rory Smith and Stuart Goff on row 4. With Michael Eastwell, impressive youngster, made his debut last year. He's on row 5 alongside Matt Round-Garrido. Jack Wolfenden and Seb Melrose are next up on row 6. Row 7, Hugo Bentley-Ellis making his debut, and Joshua Smith. John Spencer and Daniel O'Brien are on row 8. Jay Bridger and John Ferguson row 9. And George McDonald with Carter Williams rounding out the top 20. Then it's Nico Gruber and Jonathan Brown, James Scott Murphy and Pascal Monbaron, James Clark and Sebastian Job, David Maloney and Richard Morris with Simon Fleet and Vincent Jay. The one other runner is Sam Street, who will start at the back of the grid. So the story of yesterday's race, Joey Foster won the race by a second, which is an absolute age in Formula Ford 1600 racing terms, but that doesn't really do the race justice, because throughout the entire race, Joey, Michael Moyers and Niall Murray, the top 2 finishers, were locked in combat, wheel to wheel pretty much throughout. The lead changed hands a few times, the podium positions changed over almost every lap, and it was only really in the last 3 laps or so, when Michael and Niall started really fighting for second place, that Joey Foster was able to pull a bit of a gap, get his head down and pull out into a little bit of a lead. Behind, the battling was even more intense. Josh Fisher, Jamie Thorburn, Luke Cooper, Rory Smith, Stuart Goff, Michael Eastwell, Matt Round-Garrido were all tied together by a very short piece of string for the entire 15-minute duration of the race. And again, positions changing lap by lap, so it's going to be quite a job keeping up with every positional change inside the top 10 in this race, inside the top 3 even, let alone throughout the entire 31-car grid. It will be another 15-minute race as well, so short, sharp action. They completed 14 laps, in yesterday's race, so we'll expect a similar distance, although it was a damp track yesterday, so the pace should be quicker today. We've still had no rain, touch wood, this morning, so track conditions out there cold but dry, and actually the cold air temperature means that the engine performance is a little bit more efficient. This is actually prime conditions for some really fast lap times. So Joey Foster is the black car on pole position. The white car with the blue bottom half, that is Josh Fisher. Niall Murray, the white with the orange and blue flashes. And then everyone everyone else filing in behind. And there is the number 81 car, a little bit further back down the order, number 81 being Josh Fisher. So fourth on the grid for him, he's the all-blue machine. And Jamie Thorburn, the Thorburn name should be synonymous really with Formula 4 1600 racing, so too the Cooper name of Luke Cooper alongside Luke Cooper at the wheel of car number 6. Cars then gridding up. This will take a moment or two to get them all in position, and then we will be off for 15 minutes. That will fly by here for the National Formula Ford 1600 Championship, round number 2 of the championship that has proved to be a breeding ground for future Formula 1 stars, single-seater races, but also drivers that have gone on to have successful careers in sports cars, GT racing. The great thing about Formula Ford is that it really teaches you about racecraft, about car control. The cars, as I said earlier on, no aerodynamic aids. They also run on grooved tyres. They don't have those sticky racing slick tyres to plant them onto the ground, so the cars move around a lot, and when you're dealing with that in close quarters combat, you learn an awful lot about where to position your car in a race situation. So the green flag has been flown at the back of the grid. We are about ready to go racing here for round number 2 of the Avon Tyres National Formula Ford 1600 Championship. The lights go out and a mega start by pole sitter Joey Foster. He will have an uncontested lead down towards turn number 1. Michael Moyers slots into second place there, the white and blue car. Niall Murray, I think, is still third. Fourth is Josh Fisher, so they've got away in grid order with Jamie Thorburn in 5th as well. A few cars running wide further back, but we're already seeing our first challenge, and it's Niall Murray at the inside of Michael Moyers for second place. Down into Beckett's corner, careful not to lock wheels here. They just about keep away from each other. Do we get F1 safely through Beckett's though? That's the next question. Some of the pre-1990 cars running further back, they run within the a separate class for themselves, the clubman's classes, but the leading cars make their way down the Wellington Straight with side by side for the race lead, and around the outside goes Michael Moyers. What a move from Moyers. He takes the lead, and Niall Murray comes steaming around the outside of the lot of them. He won't get the lead, but I think he's going to get through into second place, and Moyers leads the way. Murray and Joey Foster debating second place for the time being, and Foster will hang on. So race leader is Michael Moyers, second Joey Foster, third Niall Murray, fourth place is actually Jamie Thorburn now, ahead of Josh Fisher in 5th, and 6th place the red and white car is Luke Cooper. The slipstream starts to take effect again though, and Niall Murray gets up the inside here of Joey Foster for second place into Copse Corner. Joey trying to turn in, cold tyres as well, remember, but they just about keep it clean. Lots of cars running out over the edge of the track. If they do that too often, they will get pinged for exceeding the track limits, and they could have time added onto their race. Down in towards Maggots and Beckett's we go. Jamie Thorburn tucked right in behind the white, blue and orange car of Niall Murray. That's 4th and 5th positions as they make their, 3rd and 4th positions, excuse me, as they make their way through Beckett's and pat down the Wellington Straight. But 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 cars minimum, you could say, are involved in this lead gaggle as they make their way down towards Beckett's. Who jinks out of line first? It's Thorburn looking up the inside of Murray, who's looking up the inside of Foster, and they're all trying to defend from Josh Fisher behind. It's very difficult though when you're in a big queue of cars like this. You really want to focus all of your attentions on attacking in front, but you know that if you go for a move that doesn't work, you will lose ground. Spin for car number 46, which is James Scott Murphy. Don't know whether he was assisted into that spin, but that's down at Brooklands. Thankfully doesn't stall the car, and the Oldfield Motorsport driver gets going again. Fan out again across the start-finish line. 2 laps completed, 12 3/4 minutes still to go, and they turn their way through the dauntingly fast Copse Corner. It's Thorburn this time that runs wide, but far from gaining an advantage. It might have allowed Josh Fisher up the inside of him. I think it has. No, not quite. Thorburn will hold on to 4th, I believe. This is for 2nd. Yeah, Joey Foster holds on to that, and Thorburn does hold on to 4th. There's Fisher, the blue number 81 car, in 5th, and Luke Cooper gets a run on him onto the Wellington Straight too. Play the start though. Yep, all cleanly away, even some of the slightly older machinery towards the tail end of the field. And what a start it was from Joey Foster. He absolutely nailed that and kept the lead down towards Copse Corner. You can see actually through the first corner they were very, very well behaved. That was the spin for James Scott Murphy. Unfortunately couldn't quite catch whether that was through assistance or self-inflicted. Here are the leaders, but the leaders in this case cover the top 11 or 12 cars. Any one of them feels they could still win this race, but at the moment it is Michael Moyers that leads the way. Joey Foster is harassing him down towards Copse Corner though, goes to the outside line on the way in. Now he's trying to get more momentum out of the corner to attack down to Beckett, but Michael Moyers has seen it all before. Sam Street is in the pit lane, unfortunately. The Burnham-on-Sea driver in his 1992 Swift, one of the one of the post-89 cars, one of the earlier post-89 cars running in the clubman's class. That appears to be a mechanical issue rather than accident damage. Now, we've got a bit of a breakaway here, haven't we? The top 5 cars, Moyers, Foster, Murray, Fisher and Cooper escaping, and now they're going to do battle, now that they've got a bit of a gap over the rest of the field. Any change of position into Brooklands this time? No, despite lots of efforts to make an advancement of position, there was no change. Oh, Joey Foster's car looks very oversteery, doesn't it? I've noticed a few times through this corner Luffield and also the other tight right-hander at Beckett. He's got a lot of oversteer built into that car, of course, because they don't have any wings they can adjust to help the car turn in. If he's got a bit of understeer in the car, he might have changed suspension settings or whatnot to try to help the car rotate through the tight corners. But maybe he's gone a little bit too far. He's holding on to second place for the time being, though. It's Matt Rangarrido there, the white and red XL liveried car, trying to make ground. He is down in 8th place, just ahead of Michael Eastwell, who started 9th and is still in 9th at the moment. Well, forget that 5-car breakaway that we had. We've now, I think, got pretty much the entire top 10 cars together again. I think it's Sam Street still back in the pit lane, isn't it? Who, they're looking at the gearbox area at the back of the car, but hard to see exactly what the issue is, as here comes Niall Murray for second place, sweeping round the outside there of Joey Foster. That gives him the inside line for Luffield, and that gives him second place. Beautiful move. You can tell that these are the veterans of Formula Ford 1600 racing. They all know how to race each other cleanly, and they know how to overtake and race each other here at Silverstone, such a popular racetrack for Formula Ford racing. The fastest lap, incidentally, has been set by the man in 4th place, Josh Fisher, a 101.996. That's a good lap, compares with yesterday's fastest lap of a 103.4. So that shows the improvement in time. Someone else in the pit, or leaving the pit lane there. That was the car that had the spin, I think, wasn't it? That was James Scott Murphy. So any damage that was sustained has been fixed. Leaders turn their way through Beckett's now. Michael Moyers now has Niall Murray chasing him down. So, of course, these were the 3 drivers that finished in the top 3 positions yesterday, but not in this order. It was Foster that took the victory. It's Moyers that's leading now, but Niall Murray tries to sell him the dummy, goes from the outside to the inside, back to the outside again. He's desperately late on the brakes, is Niall Murray. Can he make this move stick again? Round the outside to get the inside for Luffield. He's got his nose up the inside. Moyers can't turn in. Now he can. He's just about got clear, so he holds on to the race lead. But that was the first real attempt from Niall Murray to take the race lead away from Michael Moyers, who hasn't quite led from lights out, but he's led every lap but one so far, has Michael. They flash across the line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them quicker than you can say, with just about actually Jack Wolfenden down in 9th place, still part of this group. Back out of Copse. Any one of these positions could change at any moment, but it's Niall Murray who looks the raciest at the moment, doesn't it? He wants the race lead, and he goes up the inside towards Beckett's. Brilliant move from Niall Murray into the race lead, or is he? They both run out wide, and Joey Foster tries to make it 3 abreast on the exit of the corner. This is Formula 4 1600 racing at its best. Niall Murray and Michael Moyers wheel to wheel for the lead. Foster slips back into line, but he's already got Josh Fisher up the inside of him. Down towards Beckett's they go. Who gets the race lead? It's anybody's guess at the moment. They're still side by side, but I think that Moyers might just have done enough to hang on. Yes, he has. Michael Moyers holds on to the race lead. Murray in 2nd. Josh Fisher is up into 3rd, though. So race 1 winner Joey Foster is slipping backwards, side by side for 5th. That's the number 6 car of Luke Cooper, who's trying to fight them all off, and he can't, because sweeping round the outside, well, Fisher, he just about holds on to it, but Matt Rangarrido is also there into the back of the car in front of him. That was Josh Smith that he got into the back of across the start-finish line. Deep breath, everyone. We're only halfway through this race, and Niall Murray is attacking for the lead again, I think, down towards Beckett's. He looked to have a good run. That is the number 46 car of James Scott Murphy back in the pit lane, unfortunately. But what's going on for the lead? No, it's still Moyers. Murray 2nd, Fisher 3rd, 4th place Foster. Cooper is in 5th. Then it's Josh Smith in 6th. Sorry, Rory Smith, excuse me, in 6th, with Matt Rangarrido in 7th. That is your lead pack, who again fan out into 6 or 7 different lines into Beckett's, and this time I think Niall Murray's done it. He's even later on the brakes than he has been before, but he's onto the dirty part of the road. There's no grip there, he can't keep his foot in it, and still Michael Moyers is hanging on to this lead. Teflon coated is Michael Moyers in this race. Nothing that either Niall Murray or earlier on Joey Foster has thrown at him has been enough to usurp him from the race lead, and so it is still the white and blue car number 125, that leads the way. Michael Moyers down down in towards Copse Corner, defending the inside line. Does that give Murray a run on the exit? Possibly. Moyes is a bit wide. Murray's up the inside. I think he might have done it this time. Niall Murray, yes. Niall Murray into the race lead, and this could open the floodgates for everyone else to come past Michael Moyes as well. Up the inside comes Josh Fisher. He goes second. Can he close the door on Luke Cooper? Oh, he does, but they're only just. And so Luke Cooper seconds into fourth. Moyes goes from first down to third. You could see that coming. Moyes defended into Copse Corner. That was always going to leave him vulnerable to attack on the run down towards Beckett's, but still they're all over each other. Here comes Fisher around the outside. Murray defending the lead. Luke Cooper's buying into it as well, trying to get third place away from Michael Moyes. Hold your breath. Do they all get through the corner? Yes, and Luke Cooper is slowly but steadily working his way to the front. The red and white number 6 car of Luke Cooper started 6th. He was still 6th at the end of the first lap, but he is picking them off one by one. He's bringing Joey Foster back through with him as well. Joey's up into 4th, with Michael Moyes 5th, and Matt Garrido up into 6th. James Scott Murphy still in the pits. I fear there may be damage from that contact earlier on, and that looks like it could be the end of his race, unfortunately. We believe, thanks for the news down from the pit lane, we believe that might be engine trouble, possibly related to contact on the first lap. Right, let's try to have a stab at giving you the race order. Niall Murray leads, Josh Fisher is second for now, Luke Cooper is third, Joey Foster is fourth, Michael Moyes, who was leading a couple of minutes ago, is down to fifth, Matt Garrido's sixth, and Rory Smith, who was a part of this earlier on, is now down to seventh, but he's about to start closing in, I think. Weaving this way and that, the crocodile goes, and it's now Josh Fisher who wants the lead away from Niall Murray, and it's Joey Foster who wants third place away from Luke Cooper, if at all possible. It isn't possible on this occasion though, and the red and white car of Luke Cooper hangs on to a podium position. This is building up beautifully for a grandstand finish. Nice battling further back, meanwhile. The number 88 car there of Sebastian Melrose. This is just outside the top 10, so we've got the number 38 machine of Hugo Bentley-Ellis in 11th. Seb Melrose behind him. 2 cars out wide before. That's 35 and 7. So 7 is John Ferguson. 35 is John Svensson coming together. I told you it would be impossible to keep up with everything going on in this race, didn't I? Because we've been focusing quite rightly on this intense battle for the lead, but there are battles like this going on right the way through, from first down to 31st. And through Beckett's come the leaders. They're actually single file for the moment, and we haven't had a positional change for over a lap, which is very odd, but I'm sure they're building up. With only 4 minutes remaining in the race, this is building up to quite the crescendo, isn't it? Here comes Josh Fisher. Josh Fisher weaving this way and that one, trying to outfox Niall Murray. Oh, he locks him, he gets into the back of Niall Murray. Damage to the front of Fisher's car, and it holds him up. And Luke Cooper comes through into second place. It's another place game for Luke Cooper. Into third place goes Joey Foster, and a damaged car now for Josh Fisher. The nose cone has quite a hole in it. This is a replay. He tried to jink to the inside at the last second, misjudged it slightly, and tagged the back of Niall Murray's car. Now, Niall will be a bit concerned about that, because the gearboxes and the exhaust, of course, are quite vulnerable to damage from that sort of contact, but Niall, for the time being, seems okay. So Murray leads, Cooper second, Foster now back into third. Don't count him out, you can never count Formula Ford legend Joey Foster out, but here comes Luke Cooper for the race lead. It's the outside line for Beckett's though. Murray snatches a break. Does he run a bit wide at the apex? No, he throws it in at the curve, but Cooper does get a better run from the corner. He's got to pull out. He's got to pull out of the slipstream and give this a go, but the only option he was presented with was the outside line down the Wellington straight. Can he brave it out? We've seen how late Niall Murray's been on the brakes down here. Can either Luke Cooper or Joey Foster outbrake him? The answer is no, and so they settle back into line. Michael Moyes is back into fourth. It looks like Josh Fisher's damage is fairly serious, because he's actually disappeared from view, hasn't he? Michael Eastwell's car also has damage to the nose, but we have definitely lost Josh Fisher. So car number 81 that we saw have that contact with Niall Murray a lap ago has disappeared from this lead group. Back down the... Oh, and look at him! Contact again! Cooper into the back of Murray this time as he tried to get up the inside into Copse Corner. It's just wheel-to-wheel contact, but the tyre smoke makes it look very dramatic indeed. 2.25 minutes to go, but it's one of those races you don't want to end, isn't it? Fantastic racing action from the Formula Ford 1600 National Championship, sponsored by Avon Tyres. All of the cars running on Avon Tyres, of course, for this championship. There's Matt Garrido. He's joining in the fun as well, isn't he? Car number 27, he was the national champion. Matt Garrido was third in the points in the Northern Championship last year. Nice battle here. That's car number 13 a bit further back, which is Sebastian Job, trying to make a move. He's outside of the top 20 as the leaders. Guess what? They're side by side again, and it was Joey Foster that trying to get past Luke Cooper to no avail. Right, by my reckoning, we've got 2 more laps of this, so buckle up everyone, because this is going to be quite the grandstand finish. We've still got 8 drivers who are separated by less than 2 seconds. This is why we love Formula 4's 1600 racing. Oh, side by side again. Cooper goes to the outside, almost loses second place as a result of that. Matt Rangarido tries to get up the inside of Michael Moyers. That might have actually worked, for 4th position. Matt Rangarido, the 27 car, as side by side again for the lead. Cooper goes to the outside line. Watch for Joey Foster. Joey Foster will take full advantage of this, get to the inside of Cooper through Beckett. He'll show him the edge of the road. On the exit of the corner, they almost lock wheels once, twice. They're still wheel to wheel, but Foster does not have the slipstream because Niall Murray has gone to the inside of the track. Foster's trying to bully his way back into line. This is going to get interesting down into Brooklands. Cooper's back around the outside of Niall Murray, and Luke Cooper leads. Luke Cooper takes the race lead away around the outside, just hangs onto the car, and he's in front. Michael Moyers is back into 2nd place, and Niall Murray has gone from 1st to 3rd with 1 lap to go. What a move that was from Luke Cooper. I didn't think anybody could outbrake Niall Murray down in towards Brooklands, and Luke Cooper did it. Fantastic. Luke Cooper then just has to hold on for 1 more lap, but that is going to be a lot easier said than done because Michael Moyers and Niall Murray are right back with him. Murray goes round the outside and Moyers retakes 2nd place through Copse Corner, and now he's got just under a lap to try to get the race lead back. What's going to happen? Beckett is a possible overtaking opportunity. Defensive line will be taken by Cooper. Matt Rangarido, meanwhile, is going round the outside here of Michael Moyers. He's looking for a podium position out of all of this, but we'll focus on the leaders. Niall Murray setting himself up for the run down the Wellington Straight. He's in the slipstream, hogging the white line down the inside is Luke Cooper, but Murray is good on the brakes down here. He goes to the outside. He has made this move work before. Cooper outbrakes him though. Luke Cooper hangs on to it. Niall Murray stays 2nd. Moyers is 3rd-ish. Yes, hangs on I think just about, with Matt Rangarido 4th and Joey Foster 5th. It has been a sensational 15 minutes of National Formula 4 1600 racing, and it looks as though Luke Cooper, with a dramatic penultimate lap overtake, will win round number 2 of the Avon Tyres Formula 4 1600 National Championship. What a race! Niall Murray is 2nd, Michael Moyers is 3rd, Matt Rangarido gets 4th out of nowhere, Joey Foster, our race 1 winner, is 5th, 6th place then for Rory Smith, 7th Jack Wolfenden, 8th for Stuart Goff, and 9th for Michael Eastwell. The top 9 cars were covered by less than 1.5 seconds. What a race that was. Rounding out the top 10, by the way, is Nico Gruber, who started 21st on the grid. So Nico Gruber did a really good job. We didn't really get to check in with him that much, but that was a fantastic drive up through the order for him into the top 10. Well, I need to lie down after that one. I don't know about you, but that was phenomenal racing. Niall Murray must have thought he had that, but it's Luke Cooper who snatches the race victory with that around the outside manoeuvre with just over a lap still to go. Murray will still be happy though. It's a good points haul so far, and they've got another race later on today. Niall Murray finished 3rd yesterday, 2nd today. On both occasions though, he will have felt that he could have won the race. But there we go, good points haul nonetheless for him. Confirmation of the result. Cooper wins it, Murray 2nd, Moyers 3rd, Matt Rangarido 4th place. As I said, a great drive from him from 10th on the grid. Joey Foster slipped back to 5th, but it's still a decent points haul. Rory Smith is 6th. The top 6 were covered by less than 1 second. Jack Wolfenden 7th, Stuart Goff 8th, and Michael Eastwell rounded out that lead pack in 9th. Nico Gruber, I mentioned, came up from 21st to finish 10th in the end. Jamie Thorburn, I thought we might have seen more of, but he ended up 11th. Seb Melrose 12th, Carter Williams 13th, then Jonathan Brown, John Ferguson, Josh Fisher with that damage from Ember incurred after getting into the back of Niall Murray, fell down to 16th. Then Hugo Bentley-Ellis, Vincent Jay, Daniel O'Brien and Sebastian Job round out the top 20. Well, I need time to catch my breath. Bryn, I cannot wait to hear from our top 3 finishers.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to get the drivers now. If I can run over here and quickly get our race winner. Well done there to Luke Cooper. Now, Luke, that was a pretty tricky race for you. You started 9th on the grid, but you managed to fight your way through. Take your lid off if you want to. You got a few seconds. Catch your breath. It really was one of those races out there. You had so much to contend with.
Well, it was so difficult out there. Every single lap you were having to defend and attack, and when you're trying to work your way through the field, it's really difficult because you just have to think about so many things while you're out there. But that was an absolutely amazing race, probably the best one I've ever had in my life.
It was fantastic. There were battles all the way through the grid, not that you were aware of, but once you got in front, it was a case of hold on, hold on, hold on.
Yeah, exactly. It was so difficult to actually get to the front, and then I was there. It was a completely different mindset of just keeping everyone behind instead of going forward, but absolutely amazing.
Absolutely, and with Niall behind you, I mean, he's a tough competitor.
Yeah, well, everyone inside the top 15 here is a tough competitor, so there's never going to be an easy race, and that was amazing.
Well done. We'll let you get to the podium. If I run round out to quickly get hold of Niall. Niall, wow, phenomenal race. Let it go just at the end, but you must be slightly disappointed, but hopefully mostly happy with your morning's work.
Slightly disappointed, but yeah, definitely. It's the first time I've driven that car in the dry in 2 years, so yeah, I'm really happy. Got a bit of damage with Josh just outbroke himself and hit the back of me, so I was struggling big time every time I was in the lead.
Now, weather conditions was pretty difficult yesterday. Today, not sunny, but a dry track.
Yeah, it's dry. Yeah, no, we were good in the wet yesterday. In the kind of damp, we were on a wet setup in the dry, so struggled a little bit. But again, I was happy to pick up the pieces and finish third. And today, struggling with the damage we were in, and again, happy to pick up the pieces and finish second.
Yeah, and of course Michael behind you as well. He was pushing you right at the end.
Yeah. No, another couple of laps he probably would have got me. I didn't really have the pace there with the damage. So, no, yeah, I'm really happy.
And all set for the next one a little bit later on?
Yeah, definitely. Reverse grid, so see where we end up.
Dust yourself off. Well done. And we'll head over now to third place to Michael. Michael, if you can jump in for a second.
Yeah, no problem.
I mean, we were just on the pit wall watching that. That was a phenomenal race from start to finish.
Yeah, that's about as manic as a Formula Ford race gets, I think. It's just like a Walter Hayes Trophy final. But I think I went from first to fifth in one lap. And then it was just a case of trying to recover. And I thought I was going to nick it on the last lap. And I was just right on Luke's gearbox. And then Niall, the cheeky Irishman, went around the outside of me at Cop. So yeah.
Well, you say a cheeky Irishman, it's true to form with Niall, isn't it? It's the sort of move that we see him do year after year after year, 2016 in particular.
Yeah, I should know better really, shouldn't I? But no, I was holding out for the win on that last lap. But I think we would have stood a chance if Niall hadn't gone past us. But I'm happy to bring it home for a second podium because we were P2 yesterday, P3 today, so good points for the championship.
Yeah, fantastic, and one more to go as well.
Yeah, one more to go. If there's anything like that, it's going to be a hell of a race, so looking forward to it.
Fantastic, well done. We'll let you go to the podium now, but there you go. Top three, what a race. More of that coming in just a bit, but right now over to the podium and back to Andy.
Thanks very much, Bryn. Well, I've had a drink, I've taken my breath. I think I've just about recovered from what was a phenomenal Formula Ford national race. Here are a few of the highlights, just a few of the highlights from what was a tremendous race. Michael Moyers was the early leader after getting past the pole sitter Joey Foster. There was the spin early on for number 46 car of James Scott Murphy, but the dicing at the front was frenetic. The lead changing on most laps, positions throughout the top 8 or 9 were being disputed from corner to corner. Niall Murray hit the front with a great move early on, only for Michael Moyers to get him straight back on the next straight. Murray's chance to get through was always down at Brooklands round the outside line, and he finally made it stick, and that was the undoing for Michael Moyers. You heard him say there he went from first to fifth in about one lap. The slipstreaming action did lead to a bit of contact though. That was what happened to Josh Fisher. That put him right down the order with the damaged nose cone. And on the penultimate lap, Luke Cooper found a gap around the outside of Niall Murray to snatch victory in round 2 of the Avon Tyres National Formula Ford Championship. Brilliant racing as ever. We get to do that all over again later on this afternoon as well with a reverse grid. I can't wait. Well, there is our podium. Scott Woodwish from the BRSCC is ready and waiting to present the top 3 with their prizes, and I think they're about to make their way on. There's Ian Smith from Formula Ford as well, and Michael Moyers makes his way onto the 3rd step of the podium, and he, I'm sure, is fairly happy with that. There's Niall Murray. He'll be disappointed. He's been so close on both occasions this weekend to getting a victory, and on both times he hasn't made it onto the top step of the podium. But Luke Cooper has. What a move it was from Luke. What a race it was from all of them. Again, that is why we love Formula Ford 1600 racing.
Well, there you go, the podium from that incredible Formula Ford race. We've got more action from that coming up a little bit later on. And we've also got that second race of the day from the Mazda MX-5 Super Cup. But don't forget the build-up to the big one for us, TCR, the first ever TCR UK race, the first ever winner. And what a qualifying we had yesterday. Build-up starting at 1:30. Make sure you be there. See you soon.